This is Lee Martin, and you are listening to the No Name RC podcast.
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. This is episode 11, Legends of RC, Lee Martin. But before we get Lee on the phone, let's touch on a few things. First off, I want to say thank you all for the support of the last episode with Ryan Lutz. I do greatly appreciate that he was able to come on and spend some time with us in his busy schedule. Good luck to Ryan Lutz at SIC this weekend. Also, I'd like to say thank you to all of the people that have supported us so far. Episode 10, we've gone further than I thought we would ever go. I'm really enjoying bringing these podcasts to everybody, so thank you for the continued support, everyone. Episode 10 was pretty awesome with Ryan Lutz, and it's quickly become a favorite podcast. It's got quite a bit of downloads. Next week, I'll be, probably when this is released, I would have done it already, but I'll actually be on a podcast next week with my buddy Aiden Burke and his Extra Lap podcast. So I'll be there doing that. I think I'm recording Tuesday. I don't know why they want to talk to me. I'm nobody. But Aiden is a good friend of mine. I've been listening to his podcast for a while. They do it out of England. He's actually from Liverpool, but isn't a Liverpool fan. He's an Everton fan. But he has such an awesome Scouse accent. I just love talking to him. Lots of messages. A lot of people like the Lutz podcast. A lot of people like the Silly Season podcast. I really appreciate it all. We definitely appreciate it. We're doing our first giveaway. It's a JQ Racing body that Joseph used at Southern Nats. It's got an American flag paint scheme. It's signed by me, not that I'm anybody, and it's signed by Joseph, but I'm pretty sure my signature's worth more than Joseph's at the moment. So nothing serious, but we're going to give it away to our patrons and our Patreon supporter. We'll probably do like a raffle or randomizer, and somebody will get that. We also have another cool giveaway. I will be announcing that probably before this podcast is actually available for public. I do appreciate my buddy that done this for me. It's pretty cool stuff that he's doing. So I'll post that up, and that will be another giveaway. Thank you to all my JQ family around the world. Without you guys, we couldn't do this. You guys, we got a decent team headed to SIC this weekend, and it should be good. First big race of 2019. I saw some pictures of the track. Bobby's done a great job building the track, and as always, Dave and Racetime Entertainment puts on a great job. Thank you to Brent Densford, Beach RC, JQ Racing USA distributor, Assault RC. He's actually at the Chili Bowl all this week. You know, that's his vacation/work thing. He's going up there to race Dirt Oval as well as watch Dirt Oval and on the actual, I don't know, I guess it's an indoor dirt oval race. It looks pretty cool. Thousands of people there, so I'm sure he'll have fun. Shout out to Jerome Chambon, Donuts RC, our JQ Racing European distributor, as well as Rennick at Model Tune. He's our UK distributor. I'd also like to shout out to FastRaceShop.com. Remember, we have the 10 question, 10 second segment. I always get those words tongue twisted. I got to practice that. FastRaceShop.com is the sponsor for that segment where we ask 10 questions. You have to answer them right away. I think it's pretty popular. People enjoy it. I kind of messed up on mine, but that's all right. But remember, if you go to FastRaceShop.com, if you type in Lefty 2019 in all caps, you get 10% off your order. They have some really cool bits and pieces for your 8-scale cars, man. Shock caps, honeycomb bladders. Check them out. Pretty cool. With that said, I'm not going to ramble on too much. we got SIC going on this weekend. We got the CRC Nitro race going on, so it should be good to see how that works. And then the following week we got Reedy, and I'll be tuning into that because that's probably the 1/10 scale race that I really enjoy. I really enjoy the Reedy format, and OCRC is an awesome track, and they put on a great race. And the Reedy race is awesome. All heads up racing and invitational, and 10-minute mains and open. I mean, well, I guess it's called open. I don't really know the rules. Yeah, it's open. I don't think they have stock and all that. I can't remember. I could be wrong. Somebody will definitely correct me on that. Nothing much, guys. Thank you for all the support. Check out the giveaway that we're doing. If you guys wish to support further, it's greatly appreciated. patreon.com/the Quagrain. You can, donate $1. Helps us out a lot. Helps us get equipment. Helps us buy software. We're working on something new as well. I'm really enjoying this podcasting and trying to get better for everybody. I know my voice gets monotonous and the way I pronounce things is a little different, but hey man, that's the island guy coming out in me. That's my accent, and speaking Spanish all day here with my wife and my son. So all good. With that said, everybody, let's get on to this week's episode. So we have Lee Martin. If you don't know who Lee Martin is, he is actually a really talented driver from the United Kingdom. He's been fast for a while. He's one of my favorite guys to watch race. He does a lot of 8 scale, but mostly 10 scale. He's really fast in 10 scale. He's really fast in 8 scale too. So we decided to bring him on board, and I appreciate him coming on because it was kind of short notice. So with that said, let's all welcome Lee to the No Name RC podcast. What's up, Lee? How are you?
Yeah, hey man, how you doing? I'm pretty good, thanks. Yourself?
I am fine. Having a cup of coffee, relaxing, chilling out in this cool 75-degree weather that we have here in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I'm in 0 degree. Obviously, we work in Celsius, not Fahrenheit. 32 degrees or whatever it is. So. Yeah, it's pretty cold here.
Yeah, what are you up to this morning?
I'm just working on a YZ2, but it's not for me. It's for my son. So he's doing his first proper race this weekend. I've got both of them racing, so I'm going to have a real difficult weekend, shall we say.
Yeah, how old is your son that's going to be racing?
5 and 7, yeah, just turned. They're both December babies.
All right, cool. Yeah, you get hit hard then in December. You got 2 birthdays and Christmas.
Well, yeah, it's planned, believe it or not.
Really? So...
Yeah, because December's definitely a quiet month for racing, so I knew home. So we had a set period of time where we could get pregnant and make sure they were due around December time, so I knew I'd be home for it and not miss a big race.
That's actually really smart. Yeah, very good. No more children.
Yeah, I'm a Christmas Eve baby too, so.
No way.
Yeah, so it's the 3 boys of the families, all birthdays in December.
So is that it? No more kids for you? Because I said that after 1, and now I have a 3-month-old.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's it for us. No more kids. We got a fur baby instead, little puppy. So.
No problem. What type of dog do you have?
French bulldog.
Oh, those are nice. I like them.
Yeah, nice she's currently barking at the door for some reason.
Okay.
Don't know.
Cool. Yeah, I have 3 fur babies myself. None of them come inside. They all stay outside. So my wife would have a conniption if she got those dogs inside.
No, see, well, if I left mine outside, she'd freeze right now.
Yeah, that should
be enough when I picked her up later.
All right, that's cool. So what's up, Lee? If you guys don't know who Lee is, he is definitely truly a legend in RC. He is one of probably the best racers to come out of Europe, out of United Kingdom as well. Just for our record, you're from Newbury, United Kingdom. How old are you now, Lee?
I'm 34.
34. Okay, yeah. You're still young, dude. When I was 34, I was awesome. Prime of my life.
Fair enough.
Once you get to 40, which I'm at now, everything starts to deteriorate. So.
Yeah, that's only 6 years away.
You'll be all right. You'll be fine. So, all right. Before we get into things, I was reading up on some of your biography here the other day. Actually, before we do that, I'm gonna do my fanboy-ism. We actually met. Yes.
I was cuddle.
No, but we took an awesome picture, you, me, and Jack Emling. I was probably 40 pounds lighter. It was at Maritime.
Oh, cool.
I had come there.
Yeah, I think I remember you.
Yeah, I'll actually post a picture up when we do this. So we got to talking a little bit, because that's when I was like a super Mugen guy. Like, I was really into Mugen, and I was over there working in the UK, in London.
What were you doing? Like some underground stuff?
Yeah, I was tunneling, shooting shotcrete over there in under.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's like.
It's funny. I was just texting Jack. Actually, it's his birthday today.
Is it? And actually, he's one of the guys I wanted to talk to you about, because he was very talented. I hope he's still gonna race, but
yeah, his life's kind of got in the way of RC a little bit. It's funny. I was just talking to him about what he was going to do. I'm hoping that I'll be able to help him out a little bit again and get him back on track with his racing. He
kind of, I was reading that you went through a stage like from 18 to 21 where you was in the party stage, and you kind of, your racing fell by the wayside. And I think that happens to a lot of kids, especially that are really fast when they're young. So maybe that's his stage of life he's going through right now, but he's still talented and still fast.
Yeah. And yeah, I can relate to what he's doing. As I said, I went through it. I probably wasn't quite as talented as he is, or at least noticed as he is at the younger age. So for me, it was quite easy just to go party. No one really relied on me as such. No one was paying my travel or anything. So if I went out and had a few too many beers, it was kind of just my own fault, and that was it. But I know you get to a stage where you're kind of bored of that, and you want to get racing again, and that's something you love. And I'm hoping just to keep him on track till he gets to that stage, so that when he comes back, he can come back still with an amount of talent and get better.
How old is he now? Got to be 21.
He's 22 now, I think.
Okay.
He's 26th birthday today.
And all right, that's cool. I think he had his best years when he was driving a Mugen, man. Like when he was under your I want to say your wing. Sorry.
We're both thinking it, but yeah. He probably just went a little. It's a mixture, I think, of not being under my wing, where I kind of told him when he was being stupid or whatever, and also his dad kind of just losing interest in it a little bit. So Jack was left to his own devices, which can lead to party more than race. So.
Yep, I agree. All right, so let's talk about you. You and your father. I was reading that you and your father were a very good father-son team when you started out. I believe you started when you was, I can't remember how old you was, but you can talk. Let's touch on that real quick so people can get a quick background about you.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, myself and my father were a good team, but it was one of the more tense father-son relationships. He always obviously wanted me to do really well, and then when sometimes I didn't, I'd get moaned at or whatever. So, but the support was always there. The support never wavered, and if we needed something, he'd go work hard and make sure we had it. So that's something you always look up to, even as a young kid, where you're probably not as appreciative as you could be. Especially later in life, you realize how much was put into it to get you success, or at least try. So yeah, it was good. Obviously, my dad's not here anymore, which is unfortunate, but it's obviously given me a good stability, and it's given me a good foundation for my kids as well.
Okay, so you started out. When was I guess your first big race as a kid? And you knew, like, okay, this is what I want to do. I love this stuff.
You know what? This kind of dad again, but if we did something, he threw me in the deep end. So like my first couple of years of racing, I was already doing world championships and European championships if I could, and going to nationals, and just every weekend going somewhere. It didn't really matter. Just as much racing as possible in a short amount of time, because I started relatively late. Like I was 13 years old. So compared to the young kids around me, they've been doing it since like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Right.
They already had 5 years on me.
Okay.
So yeah, we did first year, we tried to do some nationals and regional races, and then I think we went to the first Worlds in '99. So second year of driving, really.
That's the 10 scale worlds, right?
Yeah, 10 scale worlds. It was in Finland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Joseph talks about that. I think that's the...
Yeah.
Is that race Joseph talks about a lot? Maybe
Who
I'm wrong.
knows? And no, if he did it, it would be the latter the Finland worlds. This
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah, okay.
it was
that
an
makes sense.
indoor arena, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. So when you was young, was it just strictly 10 scale, or did you dabble in 8 scale at all?
It was pretty much just 10 scale. We had a local club that was 10 minutes away from our house. They just did 10 scale. The club I started at, which was actually my secondary school, they ran a club on a Wednesday night, and it was just 10 scale. So we got thrown into the 10 scale thing. And back then, 8 scale was, pretty unreliable, shall we say. The engines weren't what they are today. It was quite hard to get into and learn about it with no social media and stuff. So no, it was mostly 10 scale.
Now, back in those days, was you running on dirt? Or obviously at the high school it was Astro or carpet, but
yeah, we never really got to run on dirt.
Really?
We had one club, it was called Tiverton. They run a winter series on dirt, and so you do one race every month that was on dirt. Apart from that, it was all AstroTurf or grass.
Interesting. So I know, like in England, you get out of school at 16, just like we do back home in Bermuda. You was a professional straight out of school. You didn't go to college or anything like that. You just went out and raced RC cars. How was that at 16 years old?
Well, that is incorrect, actually.
Okay, sorry.
So I no problem. I turned professional very late. As I said, went through this party stage and stuff like that. But yeah, I only turned professional at 26, so 10 years after that.
Okay, but here's a better question. You were professional as in getting paid, right? That's what you meant, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but from 16, you were still racing like straight out of school from 16 till 26. So what did you do to? How did you earn money from 16 to 26? That's a better question.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, well, from school I went into college.
Okay. So I was wrong on both things. Jesus, I gotta check my research.
So yeah, went into college, did motorsport engineering. Trying to follow the love of racing, thinking of going to F1 or something like that. So finished that, and then I decided I wanted to just get a job.
Okay.
So I did a few things, tried a few things, but eventually ended up working for the family business, which was actually doing security fencing. So putting up fencing around, buildings or whatever, houses, doesn't matter. So we done all of that because that was Dad's business. So I thought I'll learn that and see where life takes me. But then I decided to go back to college a few years later. I think I was around 20 or 21. I went back to college and studied business with the idea of I've learned this fencing trade. I'm now going to learn business so I can move into the office and run it from there. So yeah, I did that, went back to college, did business, come out of that. Then I went to work in the office, like I said. And then a couple of years later, I was just doing that. It wasn't really for me. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't a job I enjoyed. It was just a job. And then Dad got diagnosed with cancer. So he was getting a bit fed up with the business at the time. It was going through a recession in the UK and businesses were struggling a little bit. And we employed like 60, 70 people. So it was difficult. It was difficult times. Companies were losing money left, right, and center. So I actually went to the 8 scale worlds in Thailand, 2010. I with a job, and as soon as I landed, I got told I didn't have a job anymore. So that was pretty scary, considering the year before I'd bought my first house. So I was like, well, how am I going to pay my mortgage? I'm going to need a job. So I had between when I got home, which was like November, until January, to either make racing pay for my living or face the fact that I might have to stop racing as much and get a proper job, or get a job where I couldn't have holidays when I wanted. So yeah, and that was it. And luckily I managed to make it work. And then at 26 years old, my professional racing career started.
So who did that start with?
So that was Tamiya.
Tamiya. Okay. Tamiya.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. That's how we say it how you say it in England. Tamiya. Okay.
Tamiya. So, yeah, I joined them in 2010, start 2010. Had a very successful 2010, winning both European Championships, national championships, all that stuff. So they saw enough potential in me to offer me a little bit of salary. It really wasn't much. Like my first few years it was living on winning races more than trying to live. So, but yeah, I think it was good motivation then to go out and practice as hard as you could, and it installed a lot of work ethic. And as hard as you work is, what you get out of it. So, yeah, Tamiya were the first people to give me a chance, and I'll be forever grateful for that.
Yeah. How did was you on the team when Lutz was racing for them as well?
No, Lutz left, and it basically paved a way for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because the temp scale thing, I was there, but obviously he didn't do any temp scale. But I didn't. Tamiya was a strange one where the ape scale and the temp scale teams were separate. So although I was driving their temp scale buggy, I was actually using a low seat buggy in ape scale.
Okay.
And and when Lutz left, they had an opening, and that was what enabled me to drive for them in ape scale, and enabled me to be a professional racer. So yeah, he actually paved the way for me a little bit.
Okay. How long did you stay with Tamiya?
It was only, I think it was just that 1 year for ape scale. Because obviously the ape scale program was USA based. Being in Europe, it was hard to impact sales in the States, and it was hard to actually get the buggy in Europe. So it was, as a business model, it wasn't really ideal. So at the end of that year, they couldn't really justify it. I said fair enough, and then luckily Mugen came to the table. That's when I switched to Mugen for ape scale. Yeah,
so that was about what year? 2000. You was in the NBA.
2012.
Now, so was you there when Tamiya actually folded, or did they fold after you left?
With the ape scale stuff?
With period racing and whatnot. They just stopped their whole racing program.
So I stayed with Tamiya until they folded their racing program for off-road.
And then on-road followed after that, or did it take a year or so for them?
I think it was another year. Before the on-road folded, maybe 2 years.
Why do you think they did fold in the end, or they just decided to focus on?
Well, Tamiya's is obviously it's a huge corporate company, and as far as I'm aware, from the knowledge I have, is it has a few different owners. It has the actual Tamiya sons, and it has a few owners that have maybe bought into the company. I'm not exactly sure. But I think it was as a group of guys, and as a collective, they decided that they didn't need this racing team anymore, and they didn't want to do it. Whereas before, I think a few of the major shareholders really loved the racing side of it, so kept it alive. But Tamiya, they're all about their plastic models more than their race cars, unfortunately. Even though they made awesome race cars, I guess at the end, if some guy at the top says, "Oh, we don't need this expenditure," so that's the first thing to go, isn't it? Unfortunately.
Yeah, the racing side is expensive, man. I mean, a lot of people don't remember that Traxxas actually used to have a race team, and they actually done pretty good. And then they decided to just say, "No, forget all this. We're gonna just make RTRs and bashers." And now Traxxas is probably one of the richest companies in RC. So,
yeah, they really hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
The same as F1, F1 doesn't make you money. It's all the technologies that the companies learn, which progresses your normal everyday road cars. So our toys are all kind of progression of a race car. Tamiya wouldn't be able to make their short course truck if they didn't have a race car a few years ago and learned how to do it. Yeah. So, we need each other, really.
Yep, I get that. I mean, I always say if Traxxas ever decides to come back to racing, they would probably have the best team out there. They would, they have enough money to go do it like 100%. So be awesome.
Yeah.
But you did spend some time at AE as well, correct? Yeah.
Before I joined Tamiya, I was with Associated for 10 years.
Okay, all right. Just off another guy, Neil Craig is a good friend of yours, right? You and Craigie are good friends. He's another really awesome 10 scale guy and 8 scale guy. When he does race 8 scale, he always seems to be there at the end. He's raced Associated for quite a long time as well, right?
Yeah, man. He's, if you cut him open, he'd bleed blue, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been there forever, it seems. And
It,
he doesn't look like he's going to leave anytime soon.
yeah, it seems to be something like I had Mick Craddock on here. He's been Kyosho forever. You was Associated for 10 years. It seems to be, it's good to see people that actually stay with a company for such a long time.
Yeah, and I only left Associated back in the day because I had aspirations to become a professional, and I couldn't see myself doing it there with Neil in a way. I had to go a separate way to compete with Neil, and then hopefully get some interest that way. Because when Neil's been there for that long and he's just in front of you in the pecking order, it don't matter how many times you battle with him.
You gotta beat
that
him.
guy. So.
Yep. You gotta get from behind. I like to call it, stop being a fanboy and being a champion. So.
Well, exactly. I heard a few motor racers have done it over the years, and maybe Ricardo is doing it this year with Renault in F1. He wants to step out on his own and try and perform. So yeah, that's kind of some risk you need to take. Yep,
that's awesome. So that worked out for you because now you went to Mugen. You was running Mugen, and was it Mugen Yokomo cars at that time, or was it Mugen?
No, it would have been Mugen Tamiya for the first couple of years.
Okay, and you really hit your stride in 8 scale with Mugen, I would say. You was doing really good.
Yeah, I think, you get a good product. You get a team behind you that's dedicated, and you go out and practice more, and you learn as much as you can about it. And yeah, hopefully you do well.
Did you have... Well. Sorry, did you have your best finish in 8 scale worlds with Mugen? I was trying to find out. I know you was either a runner up in 8 scale, or was that 10 scale? Because to be honest, researching information on RC dudes is not as easy as you think.
So no podiums in 8 scale, but still my best results came from those years.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Argentina Worlds. I think I qualified 6th, and in the final we had a fuel tank issue, and then Sicily Worlds was 2 years after that. I qualified 3rd, but then we had an engine problem in the semi-final, unfortunately.
Yeah, I remember that.
But times, I was feeling confident with the cars, and everything was good. So, I didn't have such a good Vegas. I just didn't click that week. I'd been struggling a little bit with 8 scale going up to that event. And I also had to qualify in doing the qualifying race. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I do.
Which made us miss the first few days of real practice, and the track evolved so much that I couldn't kind of get back into it, and just lost my way a little bit. So yeah, that one was a bit of a shame.
Yep.
But yeah, before that it was good.
We'll talk about, now you're with Infinity and obviously Mugen, but I'm going to bring that up later because that's I think that's a whole section that we can talk about. But sure. You're a 6-time Euro champ.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive because the Euros is one of my favorite races to watch, 10 scale and 8 scale. I didn't watch it last year, maybe because I didn't like where the track was or something. I don't remember. But
indoor one.
Yeah, I don't know. It was not exciting to me last year, sorry. Out of those 6 Euro titles, which one was the most meaningful?
I think you always have to look at the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay, I've got 2. So the first one for me was important. Oh man, I could say all of them. They're all different reasons, but the first one, that was the year I joined Tamiya, kind of stepped out of the shadows, as so we speak, and then managed to win both 2-drive and 4-drive. So that was an awesome week. It was actually a rain-affected Euros. We didn't do all of the rounds, but I won every round and legs 1 and 2 of the final in both classes. So I didn't actually get beat all week. So that was really good. That was pretty cool. And then the year after, it was good just to show that it wasn't, a one-off and I gelled just for that track. And then won that. And then 2012 was my 3rd in a row with 2-drive. And that one was pretty special because that was the first one after my dad had passed. So I don't know, it just meant a lot, So,
okay.
So yeah, you could say that most of them have been pretty impressed, or pretty meaningful to me.
Which one was your recent one you won at Pinarello? Oh, I can't.
Pinarello. Yeah,
that's actually where the Euros are again this year, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Why do they have them at this? I mean, there's so many awesome tracks. Why do tracks get repeats all the time? Like the 8-scale Worlds is at the Hungaroring again. Like it was just at the Hungaroring in 2015.
Yeah, I'm not sure for 8-scale. Maybe it's the same situation, but in 10-scale, it's really hard to get clubs to apply for it. So like this year, for example, Pinarello were the only club that applied to have Euros.
Okay.
So if clubs are not saying they want one, then, we can't go, or they can't go begging. So one club applied, they had to get it.
Yeah, I think it might come down to just money, like anything else. It seems the same as in America with Raw, like tracks are just like, we just can't afford it no more. We're just, it's better to have a big race instead of holding the nationals or something. It's a shame because I think these races carry so much weight, and I think they're awesome.
Yeah, I think we need to look at ways of making it more profitable for the club for sure. Because I know a lot of clubs actually lose money when they hold a big race, and that can't be the case. We have to change that.
Of course,
that keep going on. Otherwise, people won't apply.
Exactly.
If a club could make it money, you'd get tons of people applying.
So out of these 6, not to cut you off, but I totally agree with what you just said, and that will actually we'll talk about that later on when we say future of RC. Out of the 6 Euro Championships, which one was the hardest to win?
Which one was the hardest? I would say probably the one in England at Robin Hood Raceway. There was 10-scale had really, become very popular in that period of time. I hadn't won one for a couple of years. There was a lot of fast guys. The track was laid out in such a way that you couldn't make up so much time or get away from other guys. So you always had someone in your ass for like 5 minutes. So that was probably the hardest one.
Was that the one that Walenka got popped for saucing?
Yes.
I heard that story and I was just like, that's insane. That's so crazy.
I don't know what happened as such. I try and stay out of that type of stuff.
Oh, I know, but it was funny how it happened, how I heard how it happened. But it's too bad for Walenka. He's fast. He's awesome. He's doing good over there at S-Works as well.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the next one. Out of the 6, you probably think that you could have had more wins, I'm sure. Which one was the biggest disappointment? Which one did you think you had it and it just like slipped out of your fingers at the last minute?
There was a couple in 2009. It was 2-wheel drive Euros, and I hadn't won one at that time, and I was pretty fast and just drove a bit pants. So I almost felt like I let that one slip. But having not won one, and I'd still finished 3rd, I think. So having not won, I was still like, oh, that's cool, another podium, but so close. The one that really sticks out is 2014 in Sweden. I TQ'd. I mean, it was against Jorn, really. Jorn was driving really well. He TQ'd the first 3 rounds of 2-wheel. We went back the next day. I managed to TQ the last 2 and take the fastest time to put me on TQ. Even though our car was not amazing, it was good, but it wasn't where it needed to be, really. And I won leg 1, he won leg 2, and then leg 3 started and got away clean. And there was a bit of a melee, a bit of a crash on the straight from the back guys. And a marshal would run out to get someone's car, but he'd run out at the same time I was jumping a triple in the middle and hit the marshal in the leg and went back down to last.
No way. You must have been so pissed off.
Oh man, I was pretty angry, upset, whatever. You can't blame anyone.
No. Do you ever show emotions like that at the track? Like, I mean, I know like people have to understand that these races, the difference between you finishing first and somewhere down the pecking order is money too. So I get when people get upset, I actually think people need to show a little bit more emotions as well. Maybe, not acting an asshole, but definitely like, I want to see people be like, man, God damn it, I should have had that. Like,
Yeah, I had to take myself away for a little while.
Yeah, I would say so.
But, we race every week. If we got caught up on all of them, we'd probably be suicidal at this point.
for sure. But that was the Euros, so that was a
hurt.
big race and money on the line, and yeah, I would have been pissed off too. Toughest rival in 10 scale.
Neil Craig.
Really, Craggy? I hope he races more this year.
We race each other more than I race against anyone, and we're very, very similar on pace generally. So yeah, it's him week in, week out.
He's really good at 8 scale too. He doesn't race it much, but man, he does. Like we was talking about it earlier. For the longest while, I thought you guys were brothers or cousins or something because you look similar. You same age, always in pictures and stuff. But I think Neil Craig is a really fast driver as well. Really awesome.
Yeah, he's older than me, by the way. I'm just throwing that in there.
He's what?
He's older than me.
Is he?
He is. He's a year and a half older than I am.
You guys are still all young.
So yeah, maybe we could be brothers. Brother from another mother, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, but no, we're really close friends as well. And I think when you've got as much talent as he has behind the sticks, you can be fast at pretty much anything.
Yeah. So here's another question I have about that. Okay, you have Euros. I think it's only 2 English guys that have 8 scale European champions, correct? That's Bloomfield and Boots.
Yep.
I really, I'm British by via Bermuda because Bermuda's a British colony, and I remember watching that race at Hungaroring, and it was so cool to see all the British guys out there like waving. You was out there waving your shirt with a pint in your hand, and he was like, because I don't think did you make the final there? I can't remember.
No.
Right.
Issues semi-final.
Yeah, and I was like, these guys are really excited for this guy to win because I know it's only been Bloomfield and all these years that the UK has been running 8 scale, they only have 2. It's incredible that's only 2. Well, he has 3 now, but with him winning twice. I thought that was cool. I think that's why I like the Euros more, as the Euros is like a mini Worlds because it's all different yes, it's different companies, but it's different countries competing, and like the countries kind of come together and root for each other, like World Cup or something like that.
Yeah, it is cool. And yeah, I think a lot of the reason why we haven't won more in the past is because our tracks are very different to like a main European track. We have a lot of low grip or oiled tracks, and we had a lot of grass tracks in the past. So it's quite hard for us to go practice a lot on a hard packed, dry dirt track. So yeah, when one of our guys wins, it's pretty special. Obviously Elliot's won a couple now, so it's getting boring, so he can stop winning but no, it's to see a guy win, especially him for that one, his first Euros win. I know what that felt like. It's pretty emotional times. And so it's cool.
And he wasn't gifted that. He actually worked his ass off to win that race. That was a tough race. I mean, in the second one that he won, he had two guys that were leading, and I mean, I can't say gifted because in order to win, you must first finish. So, but yeah.
Yep. No, it's, he in them few years, especially, he was really in his stride. And we know how much talent he's had. He's had it from a young kid. So when everything was clicked and working well, he was the man to beat. Yeah,
he's still young. Hopefully, he can get back in that where he was in that space, and he's still fast, but just needs to get racing some more international races. I hope he comes to DNC this year. That would be great to see him race against all the Americans. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, so let's touch on Worlds. In 10 scale, what was your closest? Which Worlds was yours? But because you haven't won one yet, but which one was yours? But it just it's another one that fell out of your grasp at the last minute.
Out of hand. I think for me it was probably the Chico one, 2-wheel drive at Chico Worlds in the US. It was my last year driving for Tamiya. My car was really good from the start. It was like the first sugar track Worlds we'd had, probably the only one. And the height and traction suited my driving style. Yeah, and it was going really well. I just didn't get the rub of the green. I got into the lead in leg 2. Car did a funny little spin, and that kind of lost me the lead. And then, T-Bird wrapped it up in 2 legs, and then I went out on 1 leg 3. But by that point, it was kind of pointless.
Yeah, that's too bad. Do you think you can get now that you're 34 years old, you're getting a little older, do you think you still have a chance to get another Euros and get a Worlds this year?
Well, yeah, I think I'm still driving as good as I have been for years. So, yeah, why not? Why not? We got the Worlds this year, 10th scale, and then obviously 8th scale Worlds in Brazil. That's what I'll be pushing for as well.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome in Brazil. The Worlds in 10th scale this year is on carpet, right? It's at the well, not
no,
carpet.
it's in the Huddy Arena, but it's in the permanent dirt track.
Okay, so that's going to be interesting. That's going to be
it's going to be tough.
Yeah, because they're going to be, obviously they'll know that dirt like crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, I know. It's we're all still trying to work out how we're going to do it, because I know we're not going to get many days to test on the dirt. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Would you prefer it to be on dirt, or would you prefer it to be on turf?
I mean, if you give me the choice, I'll drive on dirt all the time. But what's best for my chances of winning? It'd probably be carpet or AstroTurf.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see
that's what we drive on it all the time.
Yeah,
you know, we get to drive on dirt once or twice a year when we go further afield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you'll be going off to the Reedy race here soon.
Yep, next week I'll be there, but then it's pretty tough to throw your car down and compete with these guys who race on these type of tracks every week.
Yeah, what's your best finish at the Reedy race?
I think 6th. I've had quite a few 6th. It seems to be my number.
It's a hard race to win, man. It's really hard to win.
It's tough. Last year I did really well in 4-wheel. When we finished the 4-wheel section, I was joint leading, and then managed to really screw up 2-wheel and finish 9th. So that's how it can go sometimes in that race.
Okay. Now let's talk about 8 scale worlds. We touched on your Argentina race because you've done how many 8 scale worlds? You've done Thailand.
From Thailand onwards, so from 2010 onwards. So what's that, 4?
Yeah. You had a pretty good year this year. Where did you finish? I'm sorry, last year. Where did you end up in Australia?
I was in the quarterfinals. Mm-hmm. Just didn't get the rub of the green in qualifying. And I had to pit, so I couldn't do 10-minute stops. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't quite get the rub. Like when I was on a good run, I'd hit a bit of traffic or something would happen. I just didn't quite gel, to be honest.
Yeah. But I think you still beat Joseph, so that's all right.
Yeah, he turned up late and he proved that he didn't need so much practice.
Yeah, maybe
even to be fair, when he turned up, I think we'd only had about 3 runs up until that point. Yeah. So
he just didn't want to be there away from his girlfriend for 3 extra days. That's all he didn't want to do.
Young love, huh?
Yeah, he's all in love. Puppy love. Puppy. What did you think of the 2018 Worlds period? I mean, I thought it was pretty good. The track was great. I thought it was really good. It was really good Worlds. I'm going to sound like JQ here. Mm-hmm. I'm still not 100% on this water schedule stuff, water track stuff. I appreciate why they had to do it, and it made a better track, for the masses through the week. But the varying grip levels and track speed from if it was wet or dry or what time of the day it was a little bit strange. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I'm fully into that as much as if you kind of like just oiled the track and just let it progress or something. That's probably better. Probably. What did you think of Ongaro's speed?
Well, he didn't have any, did he?
Huh?
He didn't have any speed, did he?
Who, Ongaro? No, he just won it. Like, that's all.
No, he was. It's funny because when he didn't win the Euros, I said he'd win them because he was so fast at Euros and he should have won the Euros, but he just didn't get it. And then for me, I know in my head that would be like, shit, now I've got to work really hard. So he worked really hard, obviously, to do as well as he did at the Worlds, and it was very impressive. And I think he's going to be one of them drivers that's going to be around for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah. Did you see what he just done at Padova 2 weeks ago? Oh, he just
smashing people. Fun.
It's insane. But what do you think about all this gyro nonsense talk that everybody's talking about with him? Do you think it's any truth to that?
I mean, for him, no. Mm-hmm. I know, Italian guys, they do use gyro sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's not illegal over there at certain races. And if it's not illegal, no, why not? Mm-hmm. But I don't think he uses a gyro. He's got too much talent.
I think so too. Have you ever tried one just to see if it works? in any type of RC vehicle?
I had one. I did get one and put it in my mechanic's car. My mechanic's a little bit crazy on the sticks, so we chucked it in his car just to see what it would be like. And yeah, you'd be surprised on how much it can help.
Yeah, okay. Is your mechanic a decent driver, or?
He's a pretty good driver, but in 8 scale, he's very full on.
Who's your mechanic anyway?
His name's Leon Morel.
Okay.
English guy.
Right.
But yeah, so we chucked it in his, and it we had a section of whoops. It was at the Hearts track where the whoops are. You remember. But like before we put it in, it was a bit sketchy, and then as soon as you chucked it in, he could just hit them full throttle, and it would never like crash, that was interesting to see how much you could get away with.
Cool. What do you think of this new generation of racers coming up? I mean, you guys have some fast guys in the UK. You have the kid Skidmore, Clancy, Colin Nisbet's actually pretty fast, Emmeling. And then the Italians have got a bunch of fast guys. Spain's got a bunch of fast guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great to see all the young talent coming through. Mm-hmm. I think tracks breed talent. You know, we saw Padova pop up, and then it took a few years, and the fast Italian kids came with it. So if you've got somewhere you can go and race week in, week out, that's what brings the talent up. Mm-hmm. So I think any country could do it. They just need to have the tracks there so people can go and practice and learn.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think, besides Ungaro, who do you think's like the next big thing in Europe?
I mean, there's a few for sure.
Give me your top 3 that you would say these kids are gonna be
under the age of what?
20.
So I think someone that could probably go toe to toe with Ungaro is Ricardo Burton.
I agree with that.
He's got an enormous amount of talent. I know he went away and did a bit of school and stuff, which is, fair enough. We all need to do that. But I think if he focused 100% on racing and made some good choices and practiced as much as he could, he would be, up there with him for sure. Then let's think. Thinking moving away from Italy, because there's a load of fast Italian guys. I don't know.
Canas
is, he's crazy fast. I don't know much about him. I know he's moved away from Model X and stuff. I was really surprised at that move.
Oh, he did win the which doesn't really prove anything, but he went to S-Works and he won. He beat Robert the other day, but he's beaten Robert before in the Spanish Nationals. So
yeah, I don't know why he made the step. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't spoke to any of them. It just seems strange that he was like Model X's boy, the new Robert, so to speak, and then he left. I don't know. Who knows? But he can be really fast for sure. He already is. So maybe he'll mix it up with him too. I wouldn't. Oh man, there's so many. I wouldn't like to leave any.
Next big UK young in 8 scale.
In 8 scale. I think for dedication and stuff, you have to look at Clancy and Skidmore. They both live and breathe RC.
Okay.
So they could be the two that are battling out, the Neil Cragg and Lee Martin and Elliot Booth or Darren Bloomfield of the future. That would be cool.
Europe's got a shit ton of talent coming up, and it's going to be interesting. And America has these young kids that are coming up that are fast, but I just think at the moment there's more young, fast Europeans that are reaching their stride. And Burton is definitely, I hope he goes to DNC as well, because that kid, what he done at the Euros, and he hadn't raced all year, was pretty amazing. So
yeah. We'll see, but I think so too.
Here's my next question, and this is something that I like to argue with my American friends about. Right now, I think in 8 scale that the Euro drivers are just a little bit ahead of the American drivers when it comes to 8 scale. What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I think when you look at Euro 8 scale guys, 90% of them, all they do is 8 scale. The US top 8 scale guys are generally doing everything. They're going to racing 10 scale one week, they're racing 8 scale the next. So for the European guys, just to be able to concentrate on the one class, it will give you that slight advantage. No matter what way you look at it, it will. So that's probably why we see this sometimes, in my opinion.
Do you think? But then you see guys like Runafel. He can still throw down in 10 scale. He doesn't race it much. Savoya can still race 10 scale pretty fast. Jorn Newman's a perfect example. He's still super fast in 10 scale and still like he did pretty good at the Worlds. So
yeah. I mean, we have the extraordinary talents, but when you get an extraordinary talent and you just make him do one thing, surely he's going to be even better.
It would be interesting to see like Ongaro do more 10 scale, and I just want to see more of the USA versus Euro races. That's why I hope that a lot more Euro guys go over to DNC this year and race. So, are you planning?
A Ryder Cup?
Yeah, something like that. That would be cool. Somebody mentioned that the other day, or maybe a race series. That actually has some.
That would be fun.
A Ryder Cup would be fun. A buddy and I were talking about that the other day. Are you planning? Yeah, Motocross the Nations, the RC. Yeah.
Yep.
Are you planning on going to America to race besides Reedy? Any 8 scale this year?
I hope to. I'd like to get over to the Silver State race. Being a non-permanent track, it would be cool to go and experience that. I'd love to do DNC and stuff as well. It's just whether we can justify the amount of track time and experience we gather for the cost.
I'm actually planning that trip right now for us. I gotta drive across America again. So that'll make it 4 times in a year. It'll be
wow.
That's all right. It's fun.
Yeah.
So it's logistic. It's expensive, man. It's not cheap. It's in California. California is more expensive than it was in Arizona. It's far away from the airport, but we're gonna get it done. So it's gonna be fun.
Is it in California now?
Yeah, it's gonna be at the Southern California Fairgrounds in Paris. So it's about 2 hours outside of LAX, depending on traffic.
So what happened to Fear Farm?
I don't know. I think it's actually. I don't want to say it's closed on, but it was so many. Joey had so many issues last year with like somebody. You heard about the story about the guy who reported him for not having a proper driver stand and all that stuff. Like, so that kind of when he went to do the race, like he had to go through all that red tape, and I just think it's just not worth it. I think it's a great place to have it. Like you get more people because people can drive there and whatnot, but he has.
I never did the Fear Farm one. Farm one. I did the Nitro Pit one, but not the Fear Farm one.
Okay, yeah, but they have a nice. They have another. I want to say it's Tony Schumacher. He built an 8 scale track there. It looks pretty nice in Arizona. But like anything to do, man. Tracks are expensive, and it's a labor of love, and it's thankless. It's a thankless job. I would not. It
is. It's unfortunate, but it.
Yep, of course, man. That's why I need to be a club. I actually talked about this in the last podcast, and I talk about this with a buddy of mine, is that like in Europe, they still have clubs and that are attached to tracks. And I think that's been lost in America and that there's just tracks. Okay, if you have a hobby shop connected to a track, it's great, but you kind of need that club to so when a new person comes in, they can feel welcomed and they can feel a part of something. You have a bunch of people to help them out. And I did like that about my time in the UK, is like each track was a club, but it was also part of the whole BRCA association, So
yeah. I think our clubs are pretty good. Sometimes I feel like you need a club, but you need a head guy.
Yes,
because when you have a million people deciding on stuff, that's when it can just get a bit
crazy.
Yeah, just a bit crazy. You need one guy that says, right, everyone do this, this, and this, and this, and they're all happy to do it.
Mm-hmm. Too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Exactly.
All right. Now let's talk about your current status in RC. You are with Yokomo. I actually, when did you join Yokomo? Was it a couple years ago now?
It was 2014.
So you was Yokomo before Mayfield went Yokomo. So
long before.
So you was doing Yokomo when it was still popular, but not as popular as it is now. And obviously you're with Infinity, but Yokomo has just blown up since Mayfield won the Worlds in 2017. It's insane. I was looking at like the amount of Yokomo guys, like young guys that they signed this year in America. I was like, this is crazy. Like everybody seems to be driving a Yokomo. How's that going for you? I mean, how did you've done pretty good so far with the Yokomo over there in the EOS series and whatnot. You obviously, hold on, you've actually won a Euros with it. So, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
so you've done pretty good.
Yeah, when I joined back in 2014, Yokomo was a good brand, but the popularity wasn't quite there for where it should be, for where it used to be. And I feel with some hard work, especially in the early years before the YZ2 was out, we had a different car, and then working with a lot of EOS races and working with Shin, we come up with the YZ2. It was mostly Shin's idea, I think, and then that changed everything from that point. And then when I started winning EOS races with it, and then we started getting people interested, and then the team started building, and then a lot of people start buying it, and everyone gets more interested in it again, and then it started becoming popular. And then Mayfield came over, which it was already getting popular. It's already kind of built its legacy type of thing in Europe, and America was the next step for it. So as soon as he come on, started doing well, started getting setups and stuff, and it just goes from strength to strength. Then I mean, I took the original YZ2 to Cactus in 2015, just like 2 months after it came out, and finished third with two-wheel on a dirt track.
Right.
And back then, lay down wasn't really a thing on dirt tracks.
Interesting.
So we proved that it worked.
Okay.
And gone crazy since then, especially I think with the introduction of Joe Pellers, who really streamlines all the team management stuff. It's going well.
And obviously now in the UK, Nemo and Yokomo have combined. I guess they're the new Yokomo dealer or distributor in the UK. I haven't really looked into it too much. I will say this: those light gray pit tents look badass at the MKGP.
Yeah, Nemo distributor now for the Yokomo products, and Nemo's not a company that do things by half. So as soon as they were locked in, they've decided they're going to go for it, and I think it shows this pretty impressive setup.
It was. I think that whole race was really good for RC. Period.
Yeah, definitely.
So with that, is that the reason why you just started running the Agama before the Worlds, right? Because you've pretty much let's get this out of the way first. Yokomo is your 10 scale program, and Infinity is your 8 scale program. So let's talk about how Infinity came about. Before we go on to
a lot of people are getting confused with the connection at the moment, especially with the Nemo thing. Nemo's a distributor, and it doesn't relate to any of my 8 scale stuff currently. I still testing all different 8 scale cars. Say with my Infinity, I'm on a development role to develop our car for the future. So with that, I've tried a variety of cars. I try them for an extended period of time most of the time, because I find it's really difficult to learn all the traits of a car in just like a few test sessions. I think once you live with it over a certain amount of months, you can really get a feel for why it's good and why it's not good, and what tracks it works on and why it doesn't work on other tracks. I feel if you just like throw a car out, do a race, throw another car out, do another race, you're not really learning anything. It's a long process. But it's something that's enjoyable, and it's definitely, opened my eyes to how a car can look pretty similar but handle completely different, and how a car can, drive so different to another one, and stuff like that with very small changes.
So you've driven, I know you've driven an HB, you've driven a JQ, you've driven an Agama. I'm sure you have a Kyosho there. What car? How many cars have you driven since you started with Infinity?
Yeah, it's a few. We've tested the major players, shall we say? We've tested Kyosho, your Mugen, your Associated, your Hot Bodies, your Gama, Losi, S-Works. JQ. I've tried as much as I can in a period of time, especially different variations of car. A pivot ball car, a C-hub car, a Losi-esque drivetrain compared to a Kosho one, and worked out why each of them are different and which direction we'd like to go in the future. I think that's the main thing.
So basically, you take the information from these cars, report back to the engineers, I guess, at Infiniti, and then, like, how far out is an Infiniti 8 scale car? Would you say?
I wouldn't like to say. One, I'm not 100% sure. We're not going to release anything too early until it's exactly ready. 8 scale is a very hard market, and I think if you throw something out there that's not fully tested and fully ready, you'll do yourself more harm than good. So when it comes out, we want to make sure that it's at the height of tech, at the forefront of the technology that we have in these buggies, and it's not an old design, and it's ready for the future.
Do you think, because those who aren't familiar with Infiniti, they actually are dominating on-road, or they pretty much went out and got all the fast on-road guys they can, and they've been doing really well in that niche of RC. Do you think it will be kind of be the same thing? Like once they do have a product ready to go, they're probably gonna keep you and probably get 2 or 3 more of the fastest off-road guys they can get, and just come out and try and dominate 8 scale in off-road.
Yeah, well, who knows? I mean, that's up to them. Obviously, they are gonna, as soon as our buggy's out, they are gonna look to do as well as they can. Infiniti's a race team. It's about winning races. So to win races, you have to put that dedicated team with it, and go racing at the highest levels. Which is what they've done in on road, nitro and electric. And I can't see that changing for off road when we get there.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the money to back them and do this professional. Like I always say that we need to have a proper professionalism in the professional side of RC. So I think once they come to off-road, they're gonna definitely do it big. It's gonna be interesting to see. How did you, like, it must have been a leap of faith to go to Infiniti, or was it just like, okay, this is an opportunity too good to be true, or I can't pass this up? Are you?
Yeah, I think it's a lot about personal relationships. I spoke to Kenji a few times, and I just felt that there was something big here. I could see what he was doing with the on-road stuff, and you could see that there was a future. You could see that just by talking to him, that he had dedication to the hobby. I think, a little bit of gut. You just say, right, let's just go for it and see how it goes. And I'm thankful for everything. At the time, it was a difficult industry, and I'm thankful for them giving me an opportunity to be able to work with them, to be honest.
Are you the only off-road guy that they have?
The only specific one.
Okay.
We have Naoto and stuff like that, who's just super fast at everything.
Yes, he is. He's super fast.
In terms of, developing the buggy, it's just me for the time being.
That's Max's hero, Naoto. He even has him on his WhatsApp profile. It's like,
he's the man, and he's born to play with RC cars.
Yeah, he's badass. He is badass. But I'm glad that's going for you. I mean, I guess it's fun to try all these different cars, and you have a stable of cars. All right, let's be straight up. Which one have you liked the most so far?
That I wouldn't say. I think all have good and bad parts.
You're being too vanilla. You're being too vanilla. I get it.
Testing cars, but I wouldn't want to say which one's best, and for every other manufacturer out there that's doing their best job, I wouldn't want to say bad about any of them.
Okay, I get that, man. I'm not going to press that too much.
Thanks.
So just to clarify, because I know a lot of people were over silly season, like he's going to drive Agama and whatnot like that, and I'm trying to tell people, no, he's still Infiniti. You just basically running the Agama because of the Nemo thing, and that's part of your test session, right?
Well, to be honest, it was always my next car to test, whether the Nemo thing happened or not. And at that point, by the time I had one, the Nemo thing wasn't even thought about. It just happened that way, and it got people, talking about it. But no, that's not the way it went. So yeah, I have no connections to Nemo for ape scale. Well, not connections to Agama for ape scale for sure. Nemo being a distributor of it. So no, it's purely me still driving for Infinity, and that's where I'm at, and I'd like to stay for a while.
Yeah, I even had people like telling me there's a Yokomo 8 scale coming out. I'm telling you, and I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I haven't heard anything about this. It's, you know how silly season goes. People just run with something.
Yokomo, they've never been interested in making an 8 scale. It's not their market. They've got so many products they need to concentrate on anyway. You know, with all our on-road and off-road electric stuff. So, 8 scale is definitely not on the cards there.
Yeah, a buddy of mine was telling me that Yokomo is really big into the drift scene, and that's a really big that's really big for them, like especially over in Asia. I didn't know that, but I can see how that works.
Yeah, I think drift is one of their biggest markets for sure.
Yeah, it's the scale thing, man. People want to race little cars that look like real cars, you know. I think that's
it's. I mean, in Japan for sure, drift's the biggest market. Obviously, as we move to Europe and America and stuff, it's not as big, but there is still a big market there.
Okay, all right, that's cool. So we covered Infinity, we covered Yokomo. Let's talk about your business, which is LMR, Lee Martin Racing. What is it? I know basically what it is. I actually, but what is it exactly? Like, it's obviously like a hobby shop, online hobby shop. You're making your own parts or your own products. What's the deal with that?
No, I mean, LMR is just purely my little brand. We just make some parts. We haven't really I haven't done much on it for making parts and stuff, but I'm going to start making a few more little bits. We used to make a lot of wings that were popular and stuff like that. So I might get back into that a little bit, but yeah, it's been kind of put on the back burner as my racing got a bit more intense, especially testing and stuff like that. So just got put on the back burner a bit.
Okay. And let's give the people like a normal Lee Martin day, because you're fully immersed in 8 scale. So what do? You wake up. What would be a normal day for you?
So yeah, at the moment, obviously with the weather being a bit pants, we can't really get to many 8 scale tracks where they're usable at the moment. So 8 scale testing kind of just backs off a little bit in the winter. So it's more about temp scale and preparing for the 8 scale season. So like a normal week for me is I'll be waking up, getting the kids ready for school generally if I'm home, because the wife also works. So when she has to go to work, I have to get the kids ready for school, get them out of the house. Then I'll be back home. I will respond to all of our social media messages, emails, whatever I need to do. And then a lot of the time I'm out in the shed. I'm in the shed now. I'll be working on my cars for the coming weekend. I'll be modifying little bits and bobs that I feel that I could make the car better. And obviously I've got a lot of cars to prepare as well. So doing all that. And then I'll be planning future races and doing reports or whatever, and writing emails, and basically filling my day with everything RC related.
Okay. That's cool. You also do sorry, just got off track. But we talked earlier, and it's like balancing family and that. And I have to do the same thing, and I'm nowhere near as busy as you. And now your kids are gonna get into racing, so that's even more stress for you. That's gonna be that's crazy, dude.
Well, I think it might be less stress, because if the kids are into it, the wife doesn't mind me going racing on the weekends, taking the kids for club racing and stuff, where I'd normally like, oh, you're away all the time, why are you going racing again? Yeah. So no, I'm looking forward to it. They've had a few short course trucks for a few years bashing around, so it's about time they had some buggies. And but yeah, family life and racing's hard. The amount we travel is quite a lot, especially as when your kids start asking where you going this week and why are you going and all this stuff, and you start thinking a little more. But unfortunately, that's just one of the things that we have to deal with.
Yes, we do. You also do you're pretty good at doing like individual track days. You do them with groups of people. Sometimes you do them individually. How did that come about?
Yep.
How's that going? Do you still do them?
It was a few years ago. A chap with a kid come to me and said, "Oh, would you consider teaching my boy how to race and this and that?" We have golf lessons, we have tennis lessons, we have everything. but we spend so much money on these toy cars, and no one's there to teach us if we're doing it wrong or right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, yeah, of course, I'll come and teach him, no problem. So went along, did a whole day of it. At that time, I was like, just pay for my petrol or whatever. He's like, no, I've taken your time. I want to give you some money for it. It really wasn't a thing for me. It was just like giving back. And from then I thought, well, why I'll offer it out. If anyone wants to help their kid, then that's cool. As long as, my travel's covered and it doesn't cost me a ton of money, because sometimes you have to drive like 3 hours to a track or whatever. I'll go and give back as much as I can. So yeah, started doing that. Got quite a few people interested. They wanted to come and do it. And yeah, everyone's gone away really happy. So yeah, it's the simple stuff that we take every day for granted. Like we'll do this to the car, or we'll drive around this corner or whatever. That's the stuff that you just need to speak out loud and tell people what they're doing wrong.
Yeah. I've, in my travels with Joseph, he's done a bunch of clinics in different countries. And the first thing he does with people's cars is just make sure they have the basics done. And you'd be surprised how many people just don't do the basics, like basically throttle linkage and brake linkage set up right, EPA set right, all that type of stuff. The little things. People are so worried about the special setup. They don't even have the little things done. And he just fixes those things and like, oh, what did you do to my car? It's so great. It's like, oh, I just built it right.
Yeah. The radio settings is one of the big things, EPAs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it's not just, for me, it's not about setting it right. It's telling people how to do it. Like, it should be doing this and this and this.
Yeah.
Teaching.
Yes.
Knowledge is great.
Key, man. People don't, and time costs money too. That's another thing people have to realize, is that when you do something, yes, I like to do things to give back. I understand that, but time costs money, and I think that you should get paid for your time. So
yeah, it's difficult. I'd love to do it all for free, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. If I'm sat at home and I can spend a day on my family, or I can go and help someone else, there has to be some incentive for it. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise I'd just stay at home and play with my kids or whatever. But yeah, it's weird. It's because for me, I don't like asking people for money. Mm-hmm. But then if the ball's on the other foot and they were a plumber, but you were like, oh, can you come and do my plumbing? But I'm not going to pay you.
Yep.
They'd be like,
no, I'm not going to do it. Because this is your job at the end of the day. So
yeah, it's hard. Some people get it, some people don't. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, that's how it goes, man. I understand fully. But all right, so I have this segment that I like to ask every person that I get on this podcast, because we have so many varying opinions on the state of RC at the moment. Some people are like, oh, it's. Some people are like, it's all gloom and doom. Some people are like, it's the best it's ever been. I'm kind of like in the middle of it. I think it can be a lot better. I think things have to change. I've said that many times. How about yourself? How do you feel about RC in general right now? Like 10 scale, 8 scale, off-road mostly I'm talking about.
I think in general, it's doing quite well. From where it is, like what we've always been used to, it's doing all right. Are you still there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm here.
It said poor connection at the top, so I didn't know what was going on.
Okay, I can hear you.
So, compared to what it always has been, I think it's doing okay for itself. Especially like in England, our national series are really well subscribed. Our 10 scale's going really well. 8 scale goes a bit quiet through the winter due to weather, but in the summer it gets strong again. Mm-hmm. So it's doing okay, but it could be a lot better.
Yes.
We need to throw it more into the limelight. This last weekend at this MKGP or British GP, whatever they're calling it, that's what we need more of, for 100%. There was, I think, in excess of 90,000 people that passed by the track over the weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and 89,500 of them have probably never seen it before. Mm-hmm. So that's what we need more of. That's the really cool bit. It's funny. I was talking to my friend about it yesterday, and we've actually got some ideas to try and bring this more into the limelight, which I can't say anything about yet. But mm-hmm. We've got some ideas to try and make this work. And if we can get this going this year, I think we could see a big change. Mm-hmm. But we all need to work together.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I think the MKGP. I actually said this on my last podcast. Was there were two big races that weekend. You had the CRC race in America, which is a very old race, 32 years old, and you had the MKGP. Both great races. Which one was better for RC? And I have to give that to the MKGP. I mean, people got did they even have I wasn't sure. I read somewhere they had like a place where the average like spectator can go try a car or something like that as well, or
they did. I mean, there was 3 big races this last weekend actually. The other one was DHI.
Yes. That Jorn one.
So yeah, they had the big track, and then next to it, the BRCA had put out their little have a go track, which is cool. The only problem I see there, I mean, it's wicked the BRCA do it, and big credit to them. The only thing there is it was really aimed at kids because the little GT12s were so slow that an adult wouldn't get enjoyment out of it.
Okay.
But the kids had fun. My kid had a go and he was laughing and happy days. What I was saying to, I was talking to someone about it. What they really needed is to have like a scaled down off-road track with like 10 short course trucks and let adults go for it.
Yeah.
Because the general adult is not gonna go and race just by watching. They want to go and play with it. So once you let them have a go and they see how much fun it is and the cars are fast and they can do wheelies and stuff like this, that's what would really make me want to go out and buy one.
I agree.
Yeah, I think we need almost 2 tracks. One where we do a proper race and one where people can just smash them up.
Did you get yourself personally, did you talk to a lot of new people and did they come up and ask you questions, or was the public able to come into the pits and whatnot like that?
Well, I mean, they could look from the outside, but I mean, watching a load of guys work on some toy cars probably wasn't that fun. I know that because Nemo had a stand there, which you saw. I know they got asked a lot of questions. Obviously, they were very inviting. It was more of a trade stand. It wasn't a shop or anything. So, I mean, a lot of people came. They took away business cards. They took away information about it. I mean, at the stand, they had huge TVs playing, and you know, people could really see what it was like racing outdoors and stuff like that. So, yeah, I know they got a lot of people coming up and asking them questions, which is really good. I spoke to a few people, but most of the time it was like, how long is this going on for? I'm going to go get my friend. He's going to come back and watch too. So it wasn't like, you know, where can I buy this?
I think
a few questions of how much the cars cost and stuff, but
how fast they go.
How fast they go, how much it cost.
I think what would have been great for that as well is what they did at the Nationals last year, and they actually had a pamphlet or a booklet, and it had your, like you say, this is Lee Martin, his top UK driver, with your face, a picture of you, and your car next to it, so people could have been like, all right, this guy's a professional, let's go talk to him. You know, I think that's what we have to do. I would even go to the point that we should have autograph sessions and stuff like that. You know, just treat it professional and act like it's professional, and people will like it more. It's one of the things that Joseph and I discuss a lot.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, I did a race in Korea just before Christmas. I don't know if you saw. But there was no real, you know, people coming from outside. But we had a brochure, and it had all the drivers in it, and it had some information about them. I couldn't read it because it's in Korean. But why haven't we got that at big races where it's almost more relevant? You know, it's because this is very simple. Because
we want to keep RC to ourselves, man. I think we're very selfish as RC people. It's our own little world that we're special in. So exactly. I feel that way sometimes. Like, I feel people don't really want it to change because then they won't be as special as they were. You know, but everybody says we need to get more people in here. All right, well, we need to do things differently. And when somebody comes up with something different, they're like, that's not going to work. Well, for change to happen, change actually has to happen. So the future of RC definitely needs some change, and I think you actually backed it. And you know, in our just brief conversation, I can see you're very open minded about what has to happen in RC. Your thoughts on Rcgp?
Yeah, you know, I backed it. Without knowing a massive amount about it, but I knew what JQ was trying to achieve, which is, you know, trying to make RC, as we say, more accessible for people that aren't involved in it. to be honest, I haven't looked over the past month or so on how he's getting on with it. I know he's got a few races and stuff going on. He faced some challenges along the way, mostly financial, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone cries out for change, and if he can make it work and it's better than what we had, why not?
Yeah, I think I'm a big fan of RC, and I love seeing you guys race, and I like seeing. Like my favorite race last year to watch was the DNC when the European guys are there, because I study RC. I know there's fast guys everywhere, not just in America. So I want to see all these guys race together like any other motorsport and actually have a series. I hate that the world is every 2 years. I would rather see 4 or 5 races, 6 races a year with the best guys racing. And I think people want to see that too. And be invested in it, just like any other motorsport. We need to start treating it like a sport, I think.
Yeah, I mean, my dad said years ago, and I'm talking years ago, before Facebook was around, why don't we have a World Series? I mean, for my dad was a keen golf player.
Yeah.
And, he got into golf. And for him to say that all them years ago, and as a kid, I was like, yeah, why don't we do that? It's cool. But then now you look at it from an adult and you go, yeah, why haven't we done that?
Yeah. We gotta do it, man. We gotta take it and stop just hoarding it and spread it to the world, because people don't know. I think people don't understand that people don't know what we do. They just think,
well, my wife trying to explain my job to people in the school playground.
Yeah, exactly. And I just we need. I'm not saying we gotta make it mainstream and it's gonna be on television. It doesn't have to be on television. It has to be accessible via internet, and it has to be explained. That's why I really like the RC racing events, that when they cover the Euro races, Nick Damon does one of the best jobs of, he's not announcing the race for the racer. He's announcing the race commentating the race for the average person. And I don't even have to watch the scoring to know what's going on. I can listen to Nick Damon call a race. That's good. And I think that's key to getting new people in as well, and also hitting the right demographic of people that have disposable income to get into RC. Because people say RC is expensive, it's so expensive. And yes, it's expensive, but it's also cheaper than motocross, full-scale racing, and you can go to work on Monday.
Get the words out. It's as expensive as you make it.
I agree.
You don't have to go out and buy the latest and greatest of everything. You can go out and have fun with the cheapest and, tackiest of everything, really. Yeah. And yeah. You're right. The RC Racing TV, they do a good job. I mean, it was on our TVs here.
Really?
On television. Yeah, and I had people at school were like, "Oh, I saw you on TV." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, cool."
Well,
and, I mean, they would have never watched it if it wasn't on TV.
I didn't realize there was so much racing, period, in UK until I was over there. I mean, not just RC, but just motorcycles and cars, and I didn't know that was so big over there.
Yeah, we're a big motorsport country. Yeah. I mean, basically all motorsports have come out of England at one point.
Pretty much. Well, you should check out the new website. It's got some good information on there. You should say, hey, Infinity, I want to be a part of this. I want to do at least one race and make it great, man. It needs to support that's the thing. It needs the support of everybody in the industry to make it great. If RC grows, then every manufacturer is happy. So
yeah, exactly. We can all grow together.
Exactly. All right, dude. Well, I've had you on here for a bit of time. I know you're busy, but we have to do one last segment, and I have this 10 questions, 10-second segment. It's actually, cool. I have to do my introduction. So now we come to the fastraceshop.com, 10 question, 10-second segment. Fastraceshop.com is an Italian company that makes awesome 8-scale parts. Go check them out at fastraceshop.com. Put in Lefty 2019 and get 10% off your order. And this is the 10 question, 10-second segment. And in this segment, Lee, I'm going to ask you 10 questions and you have to answer them like off the cuff, 1 word, 2 words, or, as briefly as possible. Even though I utterly failed when I did it myself, but,
Right, I'll give it a good go.
All right. So number 1, 10th or 8th, which would you choose to do if you could only do one?
10th.
Okay. 2, Astro, dirt, or carpet?
Dirt.
3, favorite beer?
Asahi.
You and Joseph, they love Asahi. He keeps talking about that beer.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4. Man City or Man United?
United.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't like you now at all. Number 5. Favorite form of racing outside of RC?
V8 supercars.
The Australian one?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome too. I've watched that. Number 6. If you was not racing, what would you be doing?
Sleeping.
No, I mean, if you weren't, I'm sorry, I should say that. If you weren't RC racing for a living, what would you be doing?
Some kind of business somewhere along the line.
Okay.
That's a hard question.
Yeah. All right. Number 7. What country would you live in if you didn't live in England? What country would you like to live in besides England? Hello?
Barbados.
Barbados.
Yep.
Yeah, they got some good food down there and good cricket too.
And it's just chilled. It's nice.
Yeah. It's not too far from where I live, actually. So
yeah, lucky.
Yeah. All right, this is number 7. Do you want your kids to get into the RC business?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Number 9. Would you still race if you had to pay for all of your equipment?
Yes.
And number 10, the one race you want to win?
The Worlds.
Either at 10th or 8th?
Either.
Okay. Awesome, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on. There's a short notice. I've always wanted to talk to you, and I'm very thankful that you did come on and give us some of your time today. Good luck at the Reedy race in a couple weeks. And good luck with your racing this year, man. Go on and check out the Rcgp website. Talk to Infinity. Tell them to come on board. Let's go. We got to do it.
No problem. I will chat to them.
Would you like to say thanks to anybody before we get off the...
Yeah, of course. I have to thank my loyal sponsors, Infinity, Yokomo, Scorpion, Expert Servos, now Nemo Racing, and everyone really.
Yeah.
I have to look at Body Shell, Tony Sports, LMR, which is me, Dubby Design, DF Creative, Creation Models, Underpush Racing, and everyone, man. I'm just thankful for everything they do for me and for the RC industry.
Yeah. You know what I did forget to ask you though, and and one more question. I'm sorry. I know this is the end of the interview. How much longer do you think you have in RC as a competitive racer?
I don't know. Everyone has a sell-by date, but I think everyone's is different. For me, I feel like I peaked late, and I'm still learning and still getting better. So I would hope to see I've got a good few years in me yet.
Okay.
But who knows? Who knows, man?
All right.
As long as I can.
Cool. That's a great answer, man. I think you got many years left in you. And I'm looking forward to watching you race this year, especially at the Euros. It's going to be great. And the Worlds. So good luck with all that. And thank you for your time, man. You have a good day and get back to building your son's car.
Cool. And thank you for putting on this podcast for us all to listen to.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye.
Cool. All right, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So now we come to the JQRacing Rant segment. And unfortunately for everybody, Joseph is in the house. What's up, Joseph? How are you?
What's up? It's good that you're so positive, optimistic about this.
I mean, listening to you drone on is getting pretty boring and pretty old. I mean, I have to listen to it.
Well, all the podcasts that I am on are actually the most downloaded podcasts. So I see a clear correlation.
A correlation?
Yeah. Most downloaded if you want hits and clicks and downloads, you get me on the show, basically.
Oh, did you hear that, people? So Joseph thinks he's special now. Right.
No, I don't think I know.
Oh, God.
So how was Lee Martin?
Lee Martin was fine. I enjoyed talking to him.
Any hot takes?
No, he's pretty good. He remembered me from when we met at Maritime. He even remembered. He's like, yeah, he was doing some tunneling stuff. I said, yeah, that's pretty cool. And I was like 50 pounds lighter, 60 pounds lighter at that time. So, you know?
I bet that made you feel good.
Yes, of course. You know, that was my fanboyism for the day.
So anything he didn't want to share with you?
Yeah, he said him and his buddy are doing something. I don't know what they're doing. Like, I don't know if they're trying to, like, promote RC some way or something like that. But he said he couldn't get into it much. So I didn't push it because, you know, people
Doing
usually...
something,
when
but
people
he wouldn't say what.
Yeah, when people usually say they can't talk about it, they can't talk about it.
I wonder what that is.
I guess we'll find out. We will find out. So anyway, this rant. You know what, Joseph? You still ain't gonna get to rant this weekend.
Oh, fuck. Okay, what are we gonna rant about now?
We're gonna rant.
Gonna rant about?
I think we're gonna talk about this because I've heard it come up a few times, and I'm kind of mixed on this topic, and it's about drama. People's like, it's so much drama, and RC is so negative, and we need more positivity in RC. And yeah, I can see that we need more positivity. It's nothing wrong with being positive, but I don't think there's any more drama than there was all these years in RC. I think the issue with the drama is that it's more vocal, more in your face now because of social media. I mean, basically, all this drama that we talk about that's so bad in RC was way worse back in the day. Like, you know, some of the stories I've heard Dagani tell me, well, what, you know, guys breaking antennas and people getting body slammed and throwing in trash cans, and one guy taking a guy's radio and throwing. That's all crazy. And then I heard people like getting upset about, you know, oh, I don't know if I want to bring my children around RC anymore and stuff like that.
That's the dumbest. Like, that's the way I draw the line. I understand people are like, oh, it's negative, whatever. But when people say like, I don't want to bring my kids to the RC track, that is ridiculous. Like, why don't you take your kids and wrap them in bubble wrap, you know, and put on the parental advisory on Netflix or whatever and watch cartoons then. Like, don't take them anywhere. That's ridiculous.
I mean, I understand that as adults we have to be responsible, and I'm not saying that I'm not condoning people getting in fights.
Okay, listen. What can they possibly see or experience at the RC track that would be so bad for their development that it would just destroy them as human beings?
No, I don't think it's anything, because mostly every race that I've been to, and I see kids running around having fun with other kids. You know, and
yeah, exactly.
And they're getting to race RC cars and have a blast and hang out with their parents. I think what people have to realize is that when you bring kids to the track, you can't just drop them off. You have to actually supervise them and get involved with them. And I'm sure a lot of people do that. I'm not saying they don't, but yes, this is what people have to understand. This is racing, and like anything with competition, blood gets boiling, words get said, people get upset. And I'm not saying that's right. Yes, we should be responsible for our actions, but let's not make it out like it's this big bad thing that's hurting RC. It's been in RC forever. Anything racing is gonna get people. It's gonna get people like just hot. Like, you know, you can race two lizards against each other and people are gonna go crazy betting money on it, or you know, it's just. I just think we need to start over dramatizing the drama, because it's not that bad. All forms of racing have drama. It sells.
I think it goes both ways. So we feel like the people who are saying that there's too much drama and we don't want to take our kids to the RC track, we feel like those people are crazy and they're just over the top, and we're kind of ranting about that now, right? So we're taking it too far because they're just writing that on social media,
yeah,
right?
We're actually over dramatizing.
They are taking the drama thing and blowing that up too much. So both sides are doing the same thing, and I think both sides are doing it because of social media. In the past, the same things happened. People had the same thoughts and emotions. They just weren't able to share it with the world in the same way. Maybe they said the same thing amongst their friends or whatever, but they didn't post it online, and then someone else didn't comment on that, and it just didn't blow up in the same way before as it does now.
Yeah, I can get that. Like, it's like the banter that you have in the pits, you know, the crap talking. shit talking that we do. You know, now it's just on social media. But
yeah, and I think that's what makes it fun for a lot of people, but that's also why it becomes negative for other people. Because I think certain people have always taken themselves seriously and taken things, I feel, too seriously, right? But in today's world, if you are that kind of person, you're just not gonna be able to go through life, especially if you are in the public eye, and not have to confront these situations. So either you're gonna have to be miserable and have a lot of people that you block out of your life, like online and in real life, or you're gonna have to change and not be so thin-skinned, because you just have to accept that this is the world we live in now, where people share their opinions publicly, and you will see them. And people will say things about you that you don't like, and you just have to accept that.
Yeah, we all know you're an expert at that.
Because people can't accept that, then that's why they feel like there's too much drama, there's too much negativity. I don't think there is. I think people are just too thin-skinned. They get offended over everything, and it's silly.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I do get upset sometimes when I see things. I get upset at stupid stuff, like when I see things that are just stupid and don't make any sense. And sometimes I get caught up in, I try not to, but sometimes I got caught up in a little bit of argument. I like arguing. I wouldn't even say argue. I like debating about RC. But I think RC as a whole is very positive. I mean, I see most people having fun at these races that I went to last year. It was a few races, like I would say 2 races that I thought were a little bit too serious, but I get them. I get why they were. But I don't think it's that bad, man. I think everything can use a little bit. Sorry, I think everything could definitely use. We need to focus on positivity, yes, because it's good to be positive and it's good to show positive things that happen in RC, because that's great too. But it's not like there's lots of positive things that happen in RC, and there's also negative things, and there's also always going to be drama. Like, as long as we're racing and we're competing, there's always going to be drama. It just
but I think people should make more of an effort to not see everything as negative, because if you watch a stand-up comedy routine, especially a comedian that does maybe somewhat controversial or black humor or something like that, if you watch it, you kind of understand its humor, and most people will still either think it's funny or just think it's not funny, but not get offended, because it's a stand-up comedian doing comedy. Of course, there are going to be those that get offended, and, well, you just forget about that crowd. But then if that comedian was to write those same things on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, then a lot more people would be offended. And that's because when you are being sarcastic or you're joking or something's lighthearted fun or banter, it doesn't translate that well in text. So when you are reading stuff, if you're not taking into account that this guy's probably joking, or this is supposed to be fun, or, RC is fun, let's keep it fun, if that's not your mindset, then there's a much greater chance that you are going to take it word for word seriously, and you're going to get mad or offended, and you're going to fire back with something.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's causing a lot of it. So especially me, because I know how I post things and my intentions and why I post them. And a lot of people get mad when it's just some complete joke, which half the people understand and laugh about, and then half the people get offended and angry about. And the fact that they do get offended and angry makes the joke funnier. So
because you know why?
I honestly, like I said before, I just think people are way too serious, and like I said in the beginning, we are taking them too seriously. Also, it's not a big deal. Neither side is a big deal, in my opinion.
You know one thing that I'm positive about? The one thing that I'm positive that you are an idiot. That's for sure. So I'm positive that you are definitely a pain in my ass on a daily basis. So That's the one positive thing I'll say about you. But yeah, I think we just have to have fun. I mean, I know in our pits when we do things, we try to have fun. I mean, I think one of the funnest things you did last year was at DNC, where you actually got, we know what you got DQ'd at DNC. But I think one of the coolest, funniest things you did, and some people might think this is not good because this is not good for children and stuff like that. But I remember when you actually bumped up to the A main in E-Buggy, and they came to interview you from Live RC, and you was like, should I drink a beer? I was like, yeah, why not? It's like, should I crack a beer? And I was like, why not? I mean, like, we had, we're here to have fun and race. Like, we have beer in our pits. Like, I mean, we're all adults. I mean, I know kids
I forgot about that.
I know kids are walking around and stuff like that, but I mean, I live in an island where you can buy beer at McDonald's, and you live in Europe where people they sell beer and stuff at races that you go to. So I thought that was pretty fun. I mean, we have to remember that. I mean, I'm not saying that kids should be drinking, obviously not, but before anybody gets on me for saying that, but I think we need to stop taking ourselves too seriously sometimes. And I get caught up taking myself too serious sometimes as well. But it's not that bad, people. There's lots of positive things going on, and even the negative things aren't as negative as you think they are.
Yeah,
we just need
give and take. If you dish it out, you have to be willing to take it also. Mm-hmm. And I think that also creates problems when you dish it out, but then you get mad if someone gives it back to you. So
yeah, I think RC is good, man. I think I enjoy seeing the kids. Like every race I went to, I see these kids. They're just happy to be out hanging around and race. Their parents be working on their cars, and they're out there playing on scooters and bikes with other kids while their parents wrench on their cars. I think they're having a great time, man. We can't shield our kids from everything nowadays because...
Yeah, it's a question of how you choose to see it, because I think as a whole, the world is improving a lot. I mean, the living standards around the world and the opportunities people have, healthcare, technology, education, everything is improving. So in the grand scheme of things, the world is becoming a better place. But because of social media, people see a lot more negativity. They see a lot and hear about, terror attacks and accidents and disasters. So they think the world is getting worse because what they are seeing is more negative stuff. But the reality is different. So I would challenge everyone to kind of step out of the bubble. Look, don't just stare at social media and believe everything you see and read and all the memes you have posted there, but look around, talk to people, travel, learn about the world, because it's actually a lot better than it used to be. And I think the same goes for RC. If you just think that it's negative and, I don't want to take my kids there, I mean, just, expand your mind a bit. Go to different tracks, go to different races, surround yourself with positive, happy people, and you're gonna see that it's all good.
Yeah, RC is about having fun. When it's only a limited amount of people that race and make money, a handful of people that actually make money doing this for a living. So all the rest of us are just doing this for fun. I mean, yes, some of us work in it, like I work in the industry. Obviously, you work in the industry. But I still go to these races and have fun. And that's what I look forward to the most, is hanging out with people who are passionate about what I'm passionate about. And, I've met so many good people through RC in my time, because a lot of people might think I'm some Johnny come lately, but I've actually been into RC for like 20 years, traveling back in the day and whatnot. So it's not that bad. It really isn't, man. We need to just get more people involved in RC. And I think one negative thing I'll say is, like, if new people come around to a track, we should all make a conscious effort to invite them in and show. I'm sure most people do this, but anybody new that's coming, we should just try to help them as much as possible and show them positivity. And then we can, the negative stuff, the banter comes out later. It's all banter, man. People got to learn about it. Like, it's just banter, a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
No. But enough of this rant. And one day I'll let you rant. on this. But then I don't know. Maybe my rant would just be a whole bunch of your rant would just be a whole bunch of bleep, bleep, bleeps, and bleeps and bleeps and bleeps. But
might be.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in to episode 11. I'm really happy that we are at episode 11. It's I'm pretty shocked about that, Joseph. You said we wouldn't get past like 2 episodes or something like that.
I said you wouldn't. I'm actually surprised that you've been doing these weekly.
Well,
I'm really surprised, actually.
I do enjoy them.
I thought you'd just give up.
Yeah, like I gave up on JQRacing and you.
No, but this time you actually have to work. You have to produce something weekly. So I thought that would be the last straw. But you proved me wrong. That's good.
I'm gonna show the world something very positive very soon when I see you at DNC. A positive slap in the face.
You know what? That reminds me. How about next week's the No Name RC podcast? Let's talk about that, because that's going to be an epic show. And I'm going to be on it once again. So it's probably going to break all your download records. And we're going to have Jeff Keaton on also, right?
Man, I don't recall agreeing to this.
Yeah. This is what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be the full show or just a segment, but we're going to talk setup. So I believe the key is that Jeff and you, mainly Jeff probably, you want to catch me out and set up stuff. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about 8-scale buggy setup, and we're going to pick a topic, and then, Jeff's going to ask me questions.
And this isn't going to
explain my thoughts on it. And it's for all 8-scale buggies, but of course, for the JQ guys, we're going to be able to tell you exactly what to do, like exactly which link position to use, which toe in, all kinds of exact information. But the general information is the same for all 8-scale buggies.
Oh my! I just hope this doesn't turn into one of your hour-and-a-half rants about CTOs and track cutting, because at that point, I will definitely stop doing podcasts. But it should be interesting.
So let's do it as a segment.
Yes, it's a segment.
Every week.
One topic.
Every week we're going to do this. Starting next week.
Right. We'll do one. I think we'll do one specific topic, like camber. What does it do?
Okay.
And then you can ramble on for 15 minutes about that, because I cannot bear to listen to you for more than 15 minutes rambling on about setup. I've heard it enough from you. Jesus. Oh, and aren't we doing something else next week too? Or this week?
What's next week? What's that?
Aren't we doing another podcast?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a new podcast. Why don't you tell people about that?
Yeah, so...
You've been hired officially.
Yeah, so we haven't really figured out a name for it, but as you guys know, I'm a big supporter of the Rcgp series. I know quite a lot about it. So I'm actually going to be the Lefty the Great's going to be the official podcaster of Rcgp. It's going to be a separate podcast. It's not going to be as in depth or as long as the No Name RC podcast, but it's just going to be focused on Rcgp. I don't know. Maybe we'll start up with 15, 20, 30-minute segments and go from there. So we're putting it together. We're probably going to launch one probably for next Friday. I think we're trying to have it done. And we'll have a guest on there. I think we're going to get Matt on board and talk to him. He's been doing some great videos for Rcgp. So I know people will have a lot of questions for him. So for now, I'll announce it on the No Name RC podcast page until we get everything running for the other podcast. So the plan is to have Matt on. He's the guy who done all the awesome videos so far. And he's going to answer questions about Rcgp, because I know a lot of people have questions about it. So should be cool. And we'll do that bi-weekly. And then maybe when things start happening closer to Rcgp, the first one in Philippines, we'll talk more. We'll do maybe we'll get some driver interviews. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
But anyway, thank you all for listening. We are greatly appreciate it. Remember, if you wish to continue to support the No Name RC podcast, you can do it at patreon.com/thequagrain. Every little bit helps. We greatly appreciate it. We're going to do our first giveaway next week as well of the body that JQ ran at Southern Nats to our Patreon supporters. We're going to do that with a randomizer, or like like a raffle type of thing, I believe. We'll get Max on that. He's good with that stuff. And I have another awesome thing, another awesome giveaway that I'll post some pics of it coming up next week. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But that's going to be a special giveaway. We got to get about 1,500 likes on Facebook, or we got to get a certain number of Patreons to give that away, because it's actually pretty big and it's pretty cool. So should be all right. But hey, remember, Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Joseph, do you have anything else to say? Yes, it does.
Nitro all the way.
Yes, Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Okay?
Whatever you say.
All right.
Whatever you say.
Thank you all. Anyway, guys, Lefty out. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. Please tune in next time for more fresh RC content. And if you can, please also support us on patreon.com/thequagrain. We will greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, Nitro is the glory.